Okay, major announcements when it comes to both the admission cycle and the MCAT due to COVID. So first off, the AAMC recently announced that it will be moving the date that schools can see students' applications from June 26th to July 10th. This means that even if your application is verified, for example, by June 14th, let's say, it won't be sent to schools for almost another month. Now, if you've heard me before, you know I'm always a proponent of getting your application in as early as possible. This is usually very important and can increase your acceptance chances. But there's definitely a little bit of a breathing room this year. So don't worry if you are not able to submit right when the application's open, especially because many students have been unable to take their MCAT yet for this cycle. And this brings me to the next major announcement, which is that in order to allow for more MCAT testing sessions, the MCAT is going to be changed from a 7.5-hour exam to 5 hours and 45 minutes. The way this will be done is by cutting out parts of the exam that don't actually impact scores. So don't worry about being at an unfair disadvantage this year. So the way they're going to do this is, if you weren't aware, there are science sections that have 59 questions and are 95 minutes. That's the Chem Phys, the Bio Biochem, the Psych Soc, and then the CAR section, which is 53 questions and is 90 minutes long. Now, within all of these sections, there are actually questions that technically do not normally count towards your score, as these are put into the test to test new questions that may be used in future test dates. So it's really just so the test makers can get some data from that. Now, these are going to be the ones that are going to be cut out from the exam in these upcoming testing cycles. Because of this, all sections as of now will be 76 minutes long and have 48 questions. Now, as it stands, actually, it looks like there's going to be less time in the CARS section for each question. So I'm not sure if this is going to stand. The AMC just announced this, so we're going to see if they make any changes to that, and I will keep you updated. However, this format will not stay forever, as the AMC plans to go back to the regular format, 7.5 hours long, in January. But what this will allow for is an extra 3 testing sessions per day. There's going to be a morning session that starts at 6:30 a.m., an afternoon session that starts at 12:15 p.m., and an evening session that starts at 6 p.m. And the AAMC also added new test dates. This is going to be June 28th, September 27th, and September 28th. And therefore there's going to be a total of about 21 dates between now and the end of September. Now, registration for these new test dates will open on May 7th, so you don't have to stress out about having to schedule right now. It's all going to open on May 7th for everyone. And between June 19th and August 1st, if you take the test then, you're going to get back your score in 2 weeks as opposed to a month, so that way you can get your application in earlier. So keeping all this in mind, how should you approach studying for the MCAT and scheduling a new test date? So one common question that I'm getting right now is how to actually do a practice exam for this new MCAT structure. And in reality, it's going to be tough to get a number of exams that are going to match this exact structure. However, if you use the AAMC material, specifically the AAMC CARS question pack and then the section bank, what you could do is do 50 questions, or 48 if you want to make it exact, in each section. So that it'll actually match this new format. And based on all the AAMC material you have, you'll actually be able to do 2 full-length practice exams in this manner. I also recommend that when you take your full-length practice exams, you start it at exactly the same time you will be taking the actual exam. This is the first time it won't always be in the morning for students, so if you are taking a 6 p.m. exam, for example, then take at least your last 2 practice tests starting at 6 p.m. so you can start to get a feel for what time you want to wake up and how taking an exam starting later in the day is going to affect you. Alright, so I know this is a really stressful time for everyone, but look on the bright side a bit. This shorter exam should actually help students not burn out, and keeping stamina through a 7.5 exams is generally one of the harder parts of the MCAT, as it requires such intense focus. So definitely take advantage of that, and don't use this as an excuse to stop studying or get down. I know this is a tough time for everyone, but just remember that I was almost going to say we're all pre-meds. I'm not a pre-med anymore, but all the pre-meds out there are in the same situation right now. And just a little bit of perspective, there are people out there who have lost loved ones. There are frontline healthcare workers who are sacrificing a lot to be there for patients. Millions of people have lost their jobs, and having a few hiccups on this journey, while of course not great, and I wish everyone wasn't going through this, is not going to be the end of the world. I'll also be there every step of the way to help you guys out. You can always reach out to me in the DMs on Instagram, or email me, or however you want to get in contact with me. You could probably find my social medias. And if you were interested also in joining my advising program, we give support to students throughout the entire process, MCAT prep, admissions, and all of that. So sending you my best, and I hope this video was helpful, and you guys got this.